Well, I think we should probably check in on the lawfare going on in the country because it's kind of a big deal if your justice system turns entirely against you and decides you're an enemy of the people. That little things like that. And anyway, Trump's got a trial going on right now in New York. He's not allowed to talk about it, which doesn't sound very constitutional at all, but there's a gag order. Trump's mad about it. There's all kinds of other stuff going on, and Julie Kelly knows what's up. Go subscribe to her Substack called Declassified. All right, Julie, the trial itself, I can't decide why exactly it's not capturing America's attention right now. Is it because we already know they're going to find him guilty because it's a dirty bunch of commies up there or what? But what's happening?
Well, so I think the first witness took the stand today, the editor, publisher, owner of the National Enquirer. So think about this trial, Jesse. So we're going to have the publisher of the National Enquirer. We're going to have Michael Cohen, the disgraced attorney. I believe he's disbarred, spent some time in prison. Then we have Stormy Daniels. I mean, this is about as lurid as you could possibly get. So, I think maybe that's part of the reason most of America is turning it off, because it is so lurid with so many disgraceful characters populating it, not the least of whom is Judge Juan Merchan, a completely compromised judge whose daughter right now is probably signing off many new lucrative contracts in her digital marketing firm with high-level, high-powered Democrats, as she has made tens of millions of dollars off of people like Adam Schiff and Kamala Harris. So this is, of course, just a circus. But the serious side of it is sidelining Donald Trump, who is forced to sit in this courtroom every single day in New York, off of the campaign trail, away from his business affairs, and away from explaining to the American people why he should be the president and should defeat Joe Biden. Joe Biden is free to do whatever he wants. And Donald Trump now is stuck in this courtroom for at least the next 6 weeks.
And shelling out money, Julie. A lot has been made about Trump using some campaign funds, PAC funds, for fund legal defense, but I don't think people understand exactly how much this stuff costs. And I don't think they understand that does mean there's not enough money to campaign right now. This is hurting, is it not?
It absolutely is, because think of this. Not only does he have the New York trial, this criminal trial, he also, and in fact, one of his lawyers is one of the top defense lawyers in the classified documents case in Southern Florida. That is still progressing, with motions being filed every day, which I was posting last night and today on Twitter. Then, of course, we have Thursday. The Supreme Court is hearing oral arguments on the presidential immunity question, which relates to his January 6th trial in Washington, D.C. If the Supreme Court comes back and denies his claims of presidential immunity, that is going to restart, but he's still paying his attorney to go to oral arguments and make his case on Thursday. And then, of course, we've got the RICO case with Fani Willis, who oddly, I don't know why, Jesse, suddenly kind of disappeared from the headlines. That's kind of strange. So yes, it costs an enormous amount of money, time, and resources. And I think that's a great point. It's not just taking him physically off the campaign trail, but diverting, who knows, untold amount of money to all these various lawyers and proceedings around the country.
Just wow to think that's where we are. All right, let's move on to a different Trump trial, the classified documents trial. I understand this is the one you've elaborated for us many times about Judge Cannon. This appears to be the most reasonable of the judges. There's not going to be a bunch of gag order crap, but something happened with documents and redacted and unredacted. And I don't understand this stuff. Julie, what happened?
So this has been a fight, Jesse, for the past 3 months. In January, Trump and his defense lawyers filed what was called a motion to compel. And what they did in that motion is they argued that the real legitimate prosecution team in this classified documents case is not just Jack Smith, a few of his line prosecutors, and a few FBI investigators, that this prosecution team, the scope of it, extends to the most powerful government agencies that have done this before, as you know, Jesse, the Department of Justice, the FBI Counterintelligence Unit, the National Archives, the intelligence community. So they outlined in this motion all of the other officials and agencies who were involved from the very beginning. And this dates back to the spring of 2021, trying to concoct and piece together some sort of documents or records, investigation, and prosecution of Donald Trump. Well, Judge Cannon, because she is holding DOJ and Jack Smith's feet to the fire and is acting like a legitimate judge, Jesse, not like Juan Merchan or some of the other judges that we've seen. And she has repeatedly said that she will side on the American people's side and that she believes in full transparency to the extent that other interests are protected. But that we have a right to know what's been going on in this case. Jack Smith has been fighting it, but finally yesterday, a big section of that first motion that detailed the collusion, also starting with the Biden White House, I have to emphasize, all of these different agencies and officials working with the Biden White House to create this case. So a lot of that motion was unredacted. A lot of the exhibits were unredacted. So we can finally see FBI forms. We can see email chains. We can see other documentation that proves this collusion between the Biden White House, DOJ, and these other interests to target Donald Trump once again and manufacture another criminal case, flimsy criminal case, against the former president and two of his co-defendants. So, as you know, I was posting this on Twitter last night. People can go and see that I have the redacted motion and exhibits versus what was unsealed yesterday. And now you can see, Jesse, why Jack Smith and the DOJ and Biden White House wanted that material to be kept under seal.
Yeah, I want people to go look at it. I want people to go, is it just on your Twitter? Is it on your Substack too? I want people to go read this stuff because it's interesting. I found it was interesting when I was combing through it last night. I was creeping on your Twitter, Julie. I found it interesting what they were redacting versus what they didn't want me to see. I found to be extremely interesting.
It always is, right? Because, of course, we heard the old argument. We have to keep this protected. We have to keep witnesses protected. We have to protect the integrity of the investigation. We have to protect national security interests. Well, of course, none of that was true. This related to another cover-up, just like Juan Merchan is doing with his gag order, preventing Donald Trump from talking about his daughter Lauren's lucrative business dealings with Democrats. This was another cover-up operation in Southern Florida, attempted cover-up operation to conceal what was going on and has been going on behind the scenes with the DOJ. And keep in mind, Jesse, not just the classified documents case, but we also know Joe Biden and the White House intimately involved in pressuring the DOJ, they needed to be pressured, to pursue the January 6, 2020 election interference case in Washington. So the idea, of course, no one on our side believes that Joe Biden has taken a hands-off approach here, or Merrick Garland, or anybody else that we're told has been independent from political interests. No, this is the exact reverse. And now we have Joe Biden, his general counsel, and other people like Lisa Monaco, for the Deputy Attorney General with their fingerprints all over, yet again, another concocted case against Donald Trump.